Hello and welcome to the Crone Codes, a gathering place for women of all ages and all stages to remember your worth, your purpose, and your power. I'm your host, the creator and resident crone, Joan Advent. Hello and welcome to the Crone Codes. I'm your host, the creator and resident crone, Joan Advent. And I have a very powerful crone code to talk with you about today. It is a code that is rooted in our feminine nature. We might not necessarily consider it to be an aspect of our feminine, but in fact, from the perspective and the lens of indigenous Hawaiian and Mū culture, it is the basis of our feminine. It is the kind of the ultimate essence of our feminine. And so I want to unpack that with you today. So this particular piece of wisdom came to me through a mentor that I'm working with, Keone Hanalei of Pohalo Botanicals. And he is a teacher of this indigenous Hawaiian wisdom. And he is a living transmission of his indigenous Hawaiian lineage. So the code that I want to talk with you about today is the code of consent. As I said, from this lens, this indigenous Hawaiian lens, our feminine nature, our inner embodied feminine, is all about consent. It's about safety. It's about choice. There is an indigenous Hawaiian affirmation related to the feminine, and it goes, Ua Malu, I am safe and I decide. So not that long ago, I was scrolling through my Instagram feed and saw a reminder of the new awareness that we now have in science, that at the time of conception, what was once thought to be an experience of, we'll say, male dominance through the fastest swimmer or the strongest swimmer of the sperm making its way to penetrate the egg, that of course has been debunked. And now there is the recognition and the realization that it is actually the egg that chooses which sperm she wants to procreate with. She is consenting to who she chooses to procreate with. And why is that so groundbreaking? And why is this so important for us to discuss? Well, our capacity for consent really is the foundation of all of our yeses in our life and all of our nos. If we can be grounded in our capacity to consent, there is so much power that dwells in that. And of course, our consent and that sense of what is a yes for me and what is a no for me is rooted in our body. It is a visceral experience that we have. And here's the thing. We are going to spend a whole lot of time moving forward. We are just at the beginning of our Crone Codes journey, and we are going to spend a whole lot of time unpacking various codes associated with our feminine. And it's so critical that we also are unpacking and integrating and including those qualities of our masculine. Because the truth is, as human beings, we are both. Keone, my mentor, likes to say, I am 100% masculine and I am 100% feminine. And the truth is, regardless of our gender, that is the reality, that we are both. And ultimately, in this journey towards wholeness, in this journey towards cronehood, it is an integration, and it is learning how to harmonize these two aspects of ourselves, our masculine dimension, our feminine dimension, and all of the qualities that stream forth from each of those, in order for us to function at our highest, in order for us to create in our lives, in order for us to enjoy the fulfillment of life on this planet. The only way we can do it is if we have an integration of these two aspects of ourselves, our feminine nature and our masculine nature. So going back to consent. Consent is, as I said, that awareness of what is a yes or what is a no. It is that clarity. It is that visioning of knowing this is something I can move forward with, or this is something I want to experience, or it's not. So that is the feminine aspect. And then if we look at how does the masculine work with that, or how does it support? And actually, the way that it provides support is our masculine nature is the part of us that follows through on that consent. It ensures that that consent is honored. It is the aspect of us that sets the boundary. It is the aspect of us that maintains the boundary. It is the part of us that advocates for ourselves, that advocates and speaks up for our yeses, for our nos. And as you can see, we need both. We need both hands, so to speak. We need both components in order for us to have a sense of safety and sovereignty and empowerment, and frankly, to just get off the ground in becoming who we came here to be and to do what we came here to do. And the fact is that frequently we are out of balance and we don't have that integrated sense of both. We have all experienced living in a culture that overvalues the masculine, that overvalues masculine qualities and ways of being, that has denigrated and diminished our feminine nature. It's part of why it's so important that we're having discussions like this, that we are highlighting these aspects of our feminine nature so we can reclaim the dignity, reclaim the honor, but also reclaim the true and unadulterated versions of these important codes and qualities. It's the only way our inner feminine and masculine can come into balance and wholeness and work together. So part of why I am speaking to this is because we as women are emerging from systemic misogyny. And we as a humanity are dealing with personal and societal trauma of just living in what my last guest, Marion Rose, calls the disconnected domination culture. So if you're anything like me, coming back from the misogyny and living in a culture that is so profoundly out of balance has been quite a long journey. It's been quite a long journey of recognizing and remembering the sacred in my feminine nature so I could have the capacity to even see and recognize the sacred in the true divine masculine nature. And so the thing that I am so struck by when I consider this piece related to conception and the way conception works is it is such a highlight for the natural gifts of our feminine. Just think about it. The egg determines, like the egg, our feminine is multi-dimensional in nature. We as the feminine, that aspect of us, has that open connection if we're able to allow it, that open connection to spirit, to the divine, to God, to the wisdom to know what is the absolute right combination for this life to come in, for this body, for this set of DNA to come in and create a human life. It's the feminine. And just as that is true in conception, it's true in our whole life that it clearly I have big feelings about this. It is the feminine aspect of our nature that is plugged in to the other side, to the unseen dimensions that can inform how we're meant to live our lives. What is a yes and what is a no, even if at face value it doesn't make any sense to us. But our body, our visceral experience is saying, this is a no for me. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care what makes sense on paper. This is what's true for me. And the fact is our masculine is so much, because it is more unidimensional, one-dimensional, not to diminish it at all, but it is what is able to get the job done. It's what is able to take all that multidimensional vision and wisdom and clarity and bring it into the 3D, bring it into our life and create what it is we're wanting to create. And so back to the Hawaiian indigenous lens. So from that standpoint, the feminine is considered the leader from the standpoint that they receive the visions and they see where we're headed or where we need to go. And the masculine is considered the hero that can accomplish or get it done. And just coming back to the reminder that that is the highest resonance of who we are designed to be as humans, that our feminine nature is our visionary leader, and that our masculine nature is the get it done hero. For so many of us, we have outsourced aspects of that. We have outsourced either that protective mechanism of the masculine, or we have outsourced even the consent of looking to others for permission to do what we know we are meant to do, or to do what is a yes for us, what is true for us. And this conversation that we're having today is a call to bring those parts of us back, to bring them into right balance. This feels really important to transmit. Your inner feminine wisdom, your inner feminine knowing, intuition, visioning is the North Star for you to be tuned in so many ways for what you're meant to take action on or not in your life, what you're meant to pursue, who you're meant to be or how you're meant to be. And then your masculine is the one that comes in with the discipline, etc., to make it happen. So can you see how valuable and important it is and how it can enable you to detach from other people's agendas, how it can engender a sense of sovereignty and leadership? Casey Baker, who was my very first interview, likes to speak about self-leadership. And that feels like an apropos term at this point. Can you see how when we have that balance of our inner masculine and inner feminine, we are capable of self-leadership. We are capable of creation at levels and in ways that we just cannot achieve without that balance. So I really encourage you to let this wash over you. There are so many other dimensions of our masculine and our feminine, but this to me feels so critical and so foundational to our capacity to rise in our cronehood, to embody our cronehood. And so I wanted to lead with this. So if you're on Substack or YouTube, would love to hear your thoughts or input on this. Love to hear how this is landing for you and what it inspires in you or brings up. And if you would like to go deeper, if you would like to unpack the places where you are outsourcing your feminine code of consent and or your masculine code of being a guardian of that consent, I encourage you to check out the Crone Code's bonus content membership. There are a few things there that will be very powerful in that regard. The first is the willingness practice that Marion Rose generously donated to our bonus community after her interview earlier this month. And then the bonus content for this episode will specifically be targeted around reclaiming your power, those places where you have outsourced those codes related to consent and being the guardian of that. So I have put the link in the show notes if that's something you are interested in. Also, just to let you know, this past summer, I did offer an extended masterclass on the indigenous Hawaiian perspective on the feminine, that feminine foundation. I will put the link in the show notes as well, so you can access the replay for that. And finally, my dear listener, as always, I want to remind you that whether you're making ripples or big waves in this world, that you are love and you are love. Thank you for joining us today on the Crone Codes podcast. If you appreciated what was shared, please rate, review, subscribe, and comment wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to go deeper into the Crone Codes with curated bonus content created just for you, join our Crone Codes members community on Substack and receive prompts, tools, and resources for your wise woman journey.